right, welcome back to another episode of the Punchcast. This is episode 3 or 4.
I think 3.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm just a little confused because, I think we said it on a previous podcast, but episode 1 kind of got messed up midway through the recording. So in my head mentally, I'm like, wait, is this 3 or 4?
It's the 4th time we're recording, but it's the 3rd episode.
There we go. And then, it gets more confusing when you consider the previous incarnation of the Punchcast.
But this is the new and improved, all new, all different Punchcast.
All new, all different Punchcast.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to title the first episode, because these are being pre-recorded. That's what I'm just going to call it. I was originally going to be like, Punchcast Reloaded. But I don't know. All new, all different is also pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I guess it's true. It is all new and it is all different. It's two of us rather than.
You can thank Marvel for that. I hope they don't copyright strike it.
Sure. I like Marvel was like, oh man, it's Falcon Punch. He took our thing. We gotta get his ass. This YouTube channel of 16,000 subscribers, man. Fuck him. How dare he?
I mean, they're part of the mouse family, so the mouse.
That is true. The mouse is quite terrifying, despite being a mouse. Which sucks because I know Disney doesn't do a lot with him, but there were newer Mickey Mouse shorts that I thought were really good. I think they're called The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse, and
I remember this is the same time when not DC, Warner Brothers was putting on new Looney Tunes,
and they're both really good, but both companies do nothing to advertise it, and it sucks because everyone's like, "Oh, Mickey's too squeaky clean," but the newer Mickey Mouse cartoons, Mickey does a lot of shit, but it's really good, and I think a good amount of those episodes are free on YouTube. I'm not sure if that's changed because they're probably all on Disney Plus, but they're really good. It just sucks that one, no one talks about him. Two, the damn company. This is the mascot. This is the guy. This is the logo, the brand. His new cartoon that's pretty good. Nah, don't talk about it.
I mean, they're so big now. They've got Star Wars and Marvel and National Geographic and ESPN.
That's true. They practically have the Infinity Gauntlet of content these days. Yeah.
If they get Warner Brothers or Toei, I'll start throwing poop at people.
I don't think they'll. Well, I'm trying to think because I know they have advertised some, not advertised. They've been streaming some anime, but it was Bleach and
Blue Revengers.
It's still weird. That is such a bizarro Again, if I told myself, I went back to the future and be you can Disney's watch the newest season of Bleach on Disney, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What is streaming? I just watched.
Well, that's true. Well, then again, I guess way back in the day, Disney did air Naruto, so I guess it's not.
Oh, I thought Cartoon Network did it because I've seen
they both did.
Oh, they both did. Okay.
See, certain shows had a weird back and forth. Pokemon, it was on Kids WB, then it jumped to Cartoon Network, then it jumped to Disney, and now it's on Netflix. So certain things just kind of bounce around everywhere. But it's really weird because, it's all about rights and who has the license and all that. So
yeah,
because I think on in HBO, there's a couple Marvel movies. I think you could see the MCU Hulk on HBO Max.
Oh yeah, because that's Universal technically, sort of.
Yeah, so right. It's kind of weird, and I think that's where I saw the Blade movies.
I saw them on Netflix.
Oh, okay. See, I saw them on HBO. Maybe they're on Netflix. I haven't checked. I don't go on Netflix too often unless
they're definitely on Tubi, because after I watched them on Netflix, they showed up on Tubi. So yeah,
Tubi's surprising. Every time I go on Tubi, occasionally something will pop up. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was here. I'll put it on the watch list. Which, I haven't really touched that watch list in a while. But there's a lot of interesting things where oh, here's this French animated cartoon that's highly regarded. It's on here. Oh, here's Hokkaido, the movie, the coolest tokusatsu movie ever. That's on here too.
Wait,
I'm
the
like,
reboot or the
the I mean, I guess in a sense it's a reboot, but like the movie we both saw, the Violator, Mechanical Violator.
Mechanical Violator. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Kikaider reboot, I'm not sure if that ever got licensed.
Sequel? Oh, okay. It definitely never got a sequel.
Never got a sequel, which I'm mixed about because I love the suits in the movie. Like Kikaider and Kikaider look amazing.
Yeah.
The movie itself, it's kind of sad because it went more for like just being generic action.
Generic action, the action is good in it. What's in it is good, but like...
Yeah, it's just like, for what Kikaider is, because I'm a big fan of the manga and like the 2000s anime. Well, I think that's just the only anime Kikaider got. But like, I think Kikaider, maybe a bit cheesy to some people's standards, but I think it's a really good superhero story.
I just realized the problem with the Kikaider reboot movie. It felt very Black Adam-y.
Oh no. Wait, in what way?
Like, it's super serious. The main characters don't really have that much personality. It's just just like we have to get from one action scene to the next action scene, which sometimes is good, but like, yeah, you gotta,
it depends. Again, like, as someone that really likes Kikaider, I know there is a lot more character and emotional core to it.
Yeah.
That the movie never really gets to, and then also just, I mean, I don't know, the Black Adam thing threw me off because I hated that movie.
I did too.
I hated, like, well, maybe not every minute of it, but I'm like, how do you take The Rock, who's supposed to be a pretty charismatic guy, and make him just like literally a rock?
Yeah,
like,
that was a very interesting. That was a very interesting choice because, like, Black Adam in the comics has personality, so I don't know why they went with this like very stoic, very serious face sort of a person. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it like, I'm kind of glad it flopped in a sense because I do like The Rock for the most part, but like there has been information flying around that apparently in his movies he can't get hit too much, and for every hit he has to dish it back like double. And I'm like, you're a villain.
I thought there was a Fast and Furious thing, but I didn't know it was like, in every
I think that's just overall for The Rock. So
Rock.
like, I'm curious. I'm like, you're the villain. So like, or I guess anti-hero is what they were trying to go more for him.
Yeah, it was it's like you started off as a villain, then it became an anti-hero.
The fact is, Shazam or Superman were going to eventually punch him in the face.
Punch him in the face, yeah. That would have been interesting, because then I would have liked to see, like, okay... Because, I mean, that's a genuinely interesting battle. Like, Shazam versus him, or Superman versus him. So, yeah, especially since Superman is weak to magic. So that could have been something they could have played with.
Exactly. So, like, it's...
Yeah, and Superman hates magic. That's, like, one of the things he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, magic. I hate it. Yeah. If you read the comic book Superman Shazam First Thunder, which is, like, a retelling of them first meeting, he hates magic.
I mean, I guess if, like... a superhero of his status, and all of a sudden, like, oh, here's magic, fuck you, hurts you. I guess, yeah, that would be pretty annoying for the Man of Steel.
Do you want to talk about anime now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, somehow we always dive away. I mean, I guess it's still, in greater pop culture.
Yes, and listen, you live for the tangents, people. You live for the
Yeah, we're all about tangents. We could just be called the Tangent Cast, but it's not as on brand. Yeah, but yeah. So anime-wise, I know you've watched the original Trigun.
Yes, I watched the original Trigun and Badlands Rumble. I enjoyed it a lot, and it was really, really fun. Especially the movie. My God, the movie was so good. The first half was very goofy fun, and I honestly didn't know if Vash was an idiot or not, which is, I think, like, the point. At first, because, like, it's very interesting, because I saw Trigun first in uni, and at that time, I wanted to have a, I don't know what I wanted. I just want to watch a badass do badass things. Like, I think I was maybe missing Berserk or something. Like, Guts. I'm like, I just need a badass who does badass things. And then I watch Trigun, and the opening is very misleading because they make Vash look out. It's like, oh, look, it's cool ass guy with a gun and everything. And then I was like, oh shit, he's gonna do bad. But then he turns out to be this like pacifist idiot who doesn't want to shoot the gun at any time. But then on second viewing, which I watched like a few weeks ago, I'm like, oh, this is interesting because he's trying to avoid violence, but he lives in a violent world. Everybody blames him for everything, and he tries to solve everything like without getting anybody hurt. So, which is like infinitely more interesting.
Yeah, your initial reaction kind of reminds me of like how I went into Space Dandy.
Oh,
because I remember when that anime was coming out, I thought, I'm like, oh shoot, this is going to be like a Space
Cowboy
Adventure
Bebop.
Cobra.
Oh, okay.
Or it was that director.
Yeah, so I thought that there's always going to be he's going to be as badass as Spike.
Yeah, so I thought I was going to get like a sleek, cool, stylish, space action adventure, and which Dandy does have that. And to be honest, hot take, I guess, I do prefer Space Dandy over Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, oh god! You started a war in the comments. I can feel it.
For some people, but like, I do need to rewatch Bebop because it was like one of those animes when I was watching it, the whole, I guess not legacy, but like the hype was just kind of like choking me throughout my whole viewing.
Yeah, I think maybe same for me. It's been a while. It's like
so I do need to go back and rewatch it.
It's one of the first animes I ever saw. So yeah, on second viewing it might be interesting. Yeah.
There's certain things that like have such a big hype and so many dick writers online that almost out of spite I avoid, or like when I actually do watch it, it kind of affects my enjoyment. Like I really do want to get into Vagabond, but there are so many people online that are like, yeah, Vagabond is the greatest comic ever.
I'm surprised, but like I feel like Berserk gets that more than Vagabond.
Lately, I've seen it with Berserk too. Like, there's this like, I guess it's not like a trio anymore. There's like 4 manga that I feel are like the starter pack of annoying manga fan that's not shonen.
I think I can guess. Okay, I can guess 2. I get a feeling I know what the third one is. I have no idea what the fourth one is, but like.
Okay, tell me what you think it is.
Okay, Berserk, Vagabond. Because we talked about those.
Yeah, those 2.
Vinland Saga.
Right.
I don't know what the fourth one is. So like,
okay, the fourth one is Oyasumi Pun Pun.
Oh, Pun Pun, right? Yeah. The one that's gonna make you cry. Yes.
Yeah. Well, see, like it's like a weird case of one of these is not like the other because Pun Pun is not an action series.
Yeah. No swords. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no swords. There's no. Well, I mean, there is some violence, but not in that way. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more emotional. But. I mean, I read Pun Pun way back in the day when I was in high school, so, like, I got a lot out of it, but I think I was still really too young and stupid to really absorb.
Oh, I actually read it. I thought you didn't read it, because I remember...
No, I read it way before that hype came out.
Ah, okay. Because I had a friend in uni who kept on mentioning it, and like, read it, it's gonna make you cry, it's so emotional, and I'm like, okay, I will, like, when all the official English comes out, sure.
Which by now it has.
By now it has. Yes, but I haven't read it. So
that's a manga I want to go back and reread. Yeah. But yeah, like Vinland Saga, I was going to like put off for a long time because like my brother was like my little brother was constantly like shoving it down my throat when the original anime was coming out. It's like, watch it. I'm like, I'm busy. I'm watching other things. Those other things could wait. Vinland Saga is better than anything you're watching. You're a One Piece fan. Who cares? I'm like, what does that have to do with it? Fuck One Piece. I'm like, what? See, I
didn't know he said that. You've told me this. I didn't know he said like, oh, you're a One Piece fan. Fuck that.
Yeah, like I always hate if you're going to recommend something, do not put down things I like in order to prop up your thing. That's never going to work. If anything, that does the opposite of your recommendation. Yeah. Now I just don't want to have anything to do with what you're recommending me now because you just trashed what I liked.
Also, do not over-recommend because then the other person will just get sick and tired of hearing it and they don't want to watch it that way. There's 2 case studies in our uni for that.
Yeah. So like That's what, like, for the longest time I was going to put a Vinland Saga, but then I came across the author's Twitter page, and he just seems like a really chill guy. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give the series a read. But like Vagabond, I'm still like kind of. I came across like a tweet the other day. It was like one of those typical like manga versus comics debates. And then like someone, I don't even know why I was on that thread. Stupid Twitter. I was like scrolling through this thread, and like someone was like praising Jack Kirby, and this guy unprompted out of nowhere is just like, Vagabond's a masterpiece, fuck Kirby. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, you know what? Another 10 years for Vagabond.
Oh my god! It's like you just penalized it, sir.
You just penalized it. Vagabond might be the most fire thing I read, but just because of your ignorance and stupidity, I'm not going to enjoy it myself, and you could live with that. You're the reason why I didn't read it, fucker.
I guess
I love Dorohedoro, but I'm like, yeah, you like Breaking Bad? Fuck that, Dorohedoro.
Now I understand why Reem hates Hajime no Ippo so much.
Yeah, so we have a friend, Reem, who used to be a co-host on the original version of this podcast, and we had another friend in our group that kind of ruined Hajime no Ippo for her, because like he just would not stop talking about it.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where like it even extended to just boxing anime as a whole.
Yeah, that was surprising to me. I thought it was just Hajime no Ippo specifically, but no, it was like.
And then we kind of low key ruined Dragon Ball for her in a podcast,
which we're not even like the biggest Dragon Ball fans, so that's interesting.
And see, like we were kind of praising, like we were kind of like shit talking Dragon Ball. So
yeah,
I don't know
true.
why
I think we were shit talking it. If I remember.
Well, see. To the extent we're shit talking Super and the movies, actual Dragon Ball. I think is a really good series. It is one of my favorite, at least original Dragon Ball before everyone became muscly and it was more sci-fi based.
I'm actually rereading it from the beginning. I'm on like chapter 11, and it's fun. It's cute.
I think original Dragon Ball is like the perfect like adventure. In the sense like there's a world where like anything can happen. It's not necessarily explained. You have dinosaurs, you have talking animal people, you have robots and gods and demons and vampires and all that shit. Like literally anything you could think of is in the world of Dragon Ball, which I like.
And this very strong child and this very obnoxious teenage girl are just going to go through it and see what happens. Yeah.
It's just a really like, to me, like if you just told me like what is like a fun series, like to me that's what it is. It's just a fun, really enjoyable series, and of course Akira Toriyama's style, which I remember back in the day I'm like, it's whatever, because it's the most parodied and most sought after,
and you've seen it the most as well, like as a kid. Yeah, but
then like really it's iconic for a reason. It's just a really good style.
Yeah,
it's cool and goofy, but cool. It's
like I like how it's like there's a softness to it, which is weird for like a adventure like muscle bound, especially in Z later on in this like muscle bound show. Everything has rounded edges for the most part until you get to the spiky hair Z part. But before that, it's all like rounded edges, very soft, circular like motions and everything. And it's like in the manga where I'm now, Yamcha and Goku have a fight, and Goku's still a kid. But like there's a glimpse of like, oh my god, this guy knows new action from the beginning. So it's like awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff, and I just realized we went on a tangent far away from Trigun.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Reem, though. I'm going to keep calling her out. She then one day is like, I want to read or watch Baki. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, our friend Reem claimed that she wasn't a big fan of, like, super action-oriented shows.
Yeah, she's like, I don't like punchy stuff.
And then she watches fucking Baki the Grappler, which is like the most like punch-tastic series I could think of. It's just literally that's how people could just communicate in that series. Like, hey, how are you punching the face?
Oh god, that was so annoying. It still annoys me too. But anyway,
to me, it's just funny, and I do. I mean, I've talked a lot of shit about, maybe not publicly, but to you, about like how I don't really like Baki's current direction, but I do enjoy Baki as a series. I think it's a very fun action series, and in terms of like just like the hardest, like bone crunching panels I've seen, like Baki definitely takes the cake in a lot of aspects. Like there's some pretty brutal fights, and just plain outrageous moments. I've told you, like the series is off the wall.
True. I can't wait to read it someday. But but back to Trigun. So yes, it was really fun, goofy, and I thought he was a badass, but he's not. My favorite character throughout all of it was Millie Thompson. She is just the most adorable person ever. I don't know how to explain it. She is best girl in this whole show.
Right, which is why Stampede might be a little interesting for you, the newest anime.
Oh, really? Okay.
She's not there.
Oh, fuck me. Great.
They replaced her with a guy. Well, see,
what?
Everyone thought they replaced her with this guy named Robert De Niro.
Oh, right, you told me about this. Right, okay.
But then I'm thinking the way the anime is going, she's probably going to be introduced later. Now, right now, the Punchcast, when we're recording right now, episode 11 of Stampede just came out. So there's one more episode before this current season of Stampede ends. So she might even show up in episode 12. I'm not sure. So we'll see where it goes. But like Stampede is interesting. We'll probably get more into that later. But yeah, as of right now, there's no Millie in Stampede for 11 episodes.
Okay, it's already docked points from my end. Okay,
for a lot, I've seen some people just be like cowards. No Millie, no watch.
Get fucked. Yeah.
But pretty much. I mean, see, Stampede was like going for a losing battle for me from the start. I wasn't too crazy about the design. I'm still not. Mm-hmm. I think it's fine, but like the original design to me is so iconic, and just like do what they did. I mean, it's not a bad design. You know, it is cool. I think if any other character came out with a design like that, it would have been fine. But since it's like, no, this is Vash the Stampede, I'm like, it also doesn't work because, Wolfwood always calls Vash like a needle noggin.
Yeah.
Because he has spiky hair in the original.
Yeah, spiky, and it's blonde, spiky hair, and looks like a noodle. Yeah.
Yeah, so he still calls him that in Stampede, but he has like straight hair. So it's like, where's that?
Where's that? It's just because she called him.
It's just
the last
weird. Yeah. It's just weird now. But and then there was no Millie, and then like the fact that a lot of the sci-fi mystery gets taken out like episode 1 is interesting choices, but
yeah, they this was very interesting mystery to like what happened, how it happened. They don't reveal it until the second half of the show, which I mean, this show is one of the most difficult ones to binge because every episode, especially towards the latter half, is packed with information and bomb drops and like about like what this world really is. I was completely surprised that I thought this was Earth, like where they were at, and just like it's a post-apocalyptic future. No, Earth got fucked off somewhere else, and this is a new Earth, and the way they land there and stuff. Well, by the way, spoilers, everybody.
Well, see, it would be, but if you're someone that watched Stampede, that's like episode 1. They explain that shit.
Oh, they explain that shit.
Which is why a lot of people are like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" That's like if they were making some weird reboot of Dragon Ball, and it's like episode 1. Yes, he is a Saiyan. Like what? Already?
Yeah. Okay.
Piccolo is an alien.
That's because that's a big part of the show, because like they really do like slowly drip feed you, and things change. Because at first I thought, the girl who we see in the flashbacks, I forgot her name. Let me just look at Rem, yes. That Rem was his old girlfriend or something. But no, Rem was like a mentor to him. And, I mean, he did. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he loved her like a girlfriend, but like the relationship was clearly like big sister or something, or like a mentor-mentee.
Yeah, I always looked at it as like a kind of like older sister, mother.
Yeah, like that. And then like so that was interesting. I'm like, oh, that's a neat twist. And then you had Knives, his brother, who is like a crazy. So I get his like, you know, it's not a new thing. I've seen it in villains before, but it's still like his idea of like, no, humanity is a plague. They fuck things up. They need to go away. They ruin everything, and blah blah blah, and like so on and so forth. But like, yeah, it was good. A completely opposing view to Vash, and also like the other themes like redemption, and mainly like just having a positive attitude in spite of like the amount of shit you get in life. Like, because like, man, Vash goes through hell in this show. You don't feel it in the first half, it's all the goofy fun, but in the second half, my god, he gets mind fucked, he loses so many friends, every episode are like, your morals and your idea of how things should be is insane because you don't want anybody to die. Yeah. It's because they live in such a harsh world. They're like, you are crazy. Like, people tell him you are a crazy person for everybody. He keeps that belief still. Like, no, everybody can change. Nobody has the right to take away life. Anybody can, because if you take away that life, you've taken away the opportunity for that person to change and be better. So like, yeah, I mean, like, I feel like Vash and Superman honestly could be good friends.
Yeah, there definitely is like a superhero tinge to Trigun. I mean, I know the creator does like American comic books.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I feel that kind of reflects in some of the, like the gung ho guns. Like a couple of them kind of have like a superhero-ish.
Yeah, the main
tinge to them.
The big huge one at the start felt like a very like, oh, this is like that Hulk type guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a.
My favorite one was Child, because I was not seeing that coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then the twist that like Wolfwood was also part of the Gung Ho Guns. That was a cool twist. I knew that, okay, there's some mystery to him. I don't know what it is. I knew he was like, okay, clearly he's an assassin of some sort, but I didn't know it was like, oh, he knows Knives directly. Okay.
Yeah, see, in Stampede, that's like as soon as he's introduced, they give that away.
Okay. So I think for me, as a person who's watched it recently, it's not a deterrent. It's interesting because then what's the show about? Where are you gonna go? Because I just had the mysteries told to me. But again, I can understand for someone who's like, oh, I saw the show years ago. There's a reboot. You want the same flavor. I get it. It's like shocking. Like, what? You're gonna give everything away?
See, like. It's interesting because, like, for example, if this was like a reboot to a superhero we all know and love, like if this was like a Spider-Man reboot, and yeah, you got all the hits. Gwen Stacy dies. You say that right off the bat. Uncle Ben, Sinister. That, like, I'm like, okay, fine. We already know all this. So, like, tell me something new or show me something I haven't seen. But since Trigun only has that one 90s anime.
Yeah, and the one movie, yeah.
And the manga, and like the manga has differences, like the anime has differences from the manga. So that we haven't had a perfect Trigun adaptation yet. Mm-hmm. So for this show to come out, but it was said like right off the bat that it is going to be its own thing. So I think people should have had their expectations from the start modified. Since they did say in the beginning, like even when trailers came out, I mean, obviously when you see the design, it's like, oh, okay, like this is not my Trigun. So I'm kind of mixed on it. I do enjoy Stampede. I have been really enjoying it. Maybe not quite as much as I do the original Trigun, but the original Trigun is one of the earlier anime I saw. I really do like Vash the Stampede. Way back in time, Vash was actually my YouTube profile picture.
Oh, it was not FalconPunch? Oh my god!
No, way back in the day, it was Vash the Stampede. So yeah, I do have a lot of love and nostalgia for Trigun, but I do like some of the newer directions Stampede's going. It is interesting. It's just like, I guess I could kind of relate to how some older fans are feeling about this, because I kind of felt similar to Devilman Crybaby, when that came out. You know, it's a big popular remake of a thing I'm really passionate about and love. And at least Crybaby was a lot more faithful, I feel, to the original series than Stampede is, because Stampede, like, right off the bat is radically different. Whereas Devilman, like, the changes were a little bit more modern, and then the other changes were a little bit more subtle to an extent. But for me, I was kind of like mad at it because I'm like, the way people are, like the way we've both interacted with a lot of modern day anime fans, for a lot of people, this is going to be like a definitive take on this story, and they're not going to care about what came previously, or maybe even check out the original material, the original mangas for both series. So I kind of feel that's where a lot of people are coming from. So, like, you know, this series is so much different than the original Trigun, and right off the bat, it kind of sucks away a lot of the mystery the original had. And for a lot of people, they're not going to watch an anime for the 90s, which hurts to say, but I've met
come on.
I've met so many people that are like that. Or if they watch a series from the 90s, they're like, you know, this is pretty good for something made in the 90s. I'm like, what is this supposed to mean? Yeah,
you told me it's either Cowboy Bebop or Dragon Ball Z, which gets all of the exceptions.
Like, I was watching an anime podcast, and I clicked off of it just out of pure, like, rage, in a sense. Because they're talking about the original Gundam movies. They're like, yeah, you know, Gundam's... I forgot which YouTuber I was watching, but they were, like, talking about Gundam, and they're like, yeah, you know, the anime Gundam movies are on Netflix, like, for the original series,
trilogy,
like the trilogy movies.
Yeah,
those are good despite being so crusty. I'm like, crusty, really?
Crusty? I get what he's saying, because it has old animation, but still, like,
I get that, but like, crusty already paints such a negative light to it that that's not going to draw anyone into it. I just hate it because, like, there are. I mean, I haven't seen the movies, but like, original Gundam, I saw it like a few years ago, and like, it did have a lot of moments that I feel look really good, despite, yeah, it's a bit older, but it still looks good, I feel. Maybe not, like, you know, if you compare it side by side by, like, you know, Mob Psycho 100 or something, yeah, okay.
Or even what that studio, Sunrise.
Yeah, more
Sunrise,
like, modern day Gundam.
Their current OVAs are like out of this world. Like, I don't know,
even like the Witch from Mercury, the newest Gundam show, looked really nice.
I need to watch that. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, season 2 is going to be coming out soon. So knowing you're probably going to wait until that.
Yeah, until that's over. So I'm going to wait until season 2. Then I'm going to watch both. Yeah.
Which was also really. I need to get back into Gundam properly, because I watched the original series, then the MS Team and War in the Pocket OVAs.
War in the Pocket is so good. I love that.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it, because I remember I liked it, but like, now I feel like I would appreciate it a lot more. And then I was going to start Zeta, and then I never did. And then I'm like, I probably need to rewatch Gundam again. But my first ever Gundam was G Gundam, which is as far away from normal
I saw
Gundam
that.
as it could get.
It's a fine. It's like, what if Gundam was Dragon Ball Z?
I fucking loved it, but
it was fine. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't hate anybody. It's like, it's fun. Okay, this is silly. I'm with it. Like, you have to be in the correct mood. If you're expecting, like, super serious political drama and war story, no, do not. That's not this Gundam. This is just, what if Gundams punched?
Yeah, this is like, it's a Gundam for like super robot fans.
Yeah, super robot fans, exactly. This is like Gundam's first ever foray into super robot.
Yeah, so, which I really enjoyed. Maybe it's not the best starter for Gundam, but I feel it was a good start. But again, going back to Trigun, like I mentioned earlier, Trigun's a series that I really do enjoy. I do want to revisit it both in anime and manga form sometime, because now I'm getting to the point where I do want to rewatch stuff. For the longest time, I'm like, why rewatch something when I could watch something new? But now it's like...
for me, it's more from like a medical problem, because I keep forgetting.
Well, see, I've noticed I'm kind of like that too, because like, sometimes you're talking to me about a series that I've read, and you'd be like, yeah, you know, this happened. I didn't really like this story decision. And like, the back of my head, I'm like, I only remember big moments and like the general feeling I got off whatever piece of media we're talking about. So I have no idea what you're talking
But that
about.
makes like the rewatching fun because you're like, oh right, I can't believe I forgot about this. This did happen, yeah.
Exactly. So like now I'm more in the rewatching. I mean, I have rewatched Trigun probably twice. I haven't reread the manga. The manga is good and it does have interesting story elements to it that kind of show up in Stampede, thankfully, because they never showed up in the original manga. Like we get a little bit more of like Wolfwood's backstory, of how he became the Punisher. Well, see, there's other people like Wolfwood.
Oh, right. Okay, they just went
with
to his master and him. They didn't really go into okay.
Now, we get like his whole orphanage backstory, and he had like a friend named Levio who also has like twin cross guns that are like super awesome. The guns in Trigun are fucking amazing. Like,
true, yes, that is 100% true. The guns in there are fantastic. And then, because one of the questions I had immediately after the series, and I asked you about it, and you gave me an answer. Like, so what do they mean? Like, what is a plant? Like, what is because Vash and knives are plants. And then my question was, okay, but what is that exactly? And then you gave an explanation, like, oh, the manga elaborates on it, because who created Vash and knives? The show never really gives that answer. We just know that they're the same people as the things in the bubble which they get energy from, that bulb, that light bulb, but like they don't really go into like, oh, what they are exactly.
Yeah, like the Stampede's going into that a little bit more too, on like what these plants are and like the whole connection to everything. I mean, even in the manga, like again, I haven't read the manga since I was in high school. It's been a while.
The only thing stopping me is because you told me the action sucks.
Yes. I feel like a lot of people have mentioned this too when talking about the Trigun manga. Like the artwork is fantastic and everything. It's great, but like some of the action scenes are kind of like hard to read, at least in my opinion, and a few people I've seen online kind of share that sentiment, which is unfortunate given that Trigun is also an action series. So having hard to read action is kind of like really hurts. Yeah,
so that's the one thing that I'm like, oh, but you didn't. Because I've seen some panels, but I thought like, oh, this is like an outlier. But like, if it's like, oh, that's how it is the whole series, then like, nah, I don't want to do that.
I mean, again, I want to reread it maybe now.
Maybe you find it's not as bad as you thought, or like,
yeah, maybe because like I think when I picked up Trigun Maximum, which is the majority of the Trigun manga, because it switched magazines, like I was still new to like comics as a medium. I think besides that, the only other manga I read was Soul Eater because I loved the anime so much for Soul Eater, and I was like super pissed off that the anime just stopped and there was never a season 2. So I had to go out and like read the manga, and then after that I'm like, oh yeah, Trigun was kind of in that same boat too. Let me go read Trigun. And then from that, like the gates to the world of manga kind of opened up to me. Which is still hilarious to me because I'm pretty sure soon afterwards I came across Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, which especially at the time no one was reading or talking about. So like I don't know how I like get into a medium and just go for the most underground shit imaginable.
You found it soon after. I thought you found it years later.
No, like it was one of my earliest mangas.
Oh, damn. I don't even remember what my first manga was.
I mean, technically, my very, very first manga was the Kingdom Hearts manga.
Oh, okay. Did you understand anything?
Oh, yeah, because I did play the games.
Oh, okay. Because
it kind of puts the story in more perspective. Like, now it's just like, there's no gameplay. I'm like, this is just the story.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so that was, that's what, yeah, so I really want to know, like, oh, what's the mystery behind some of the things that the 90s anime didn't answer. Also, man, Wolfwood's arc. Holy shit. In that original series, like, from where he started and then what he had to go through and then where he ended up, like, my god, I was like, no, Wolfwood, you fake church man.
Yeah, Wolfwood's pretty awesome. Like I do have a soft spot for Vash because I am a big fan of those types of characters. But like Wolfwood really is fucking
My
awesome.
favorite joke in the series is like he screams at Wolfwood, "Thou shalt not kill." What kind of churchman are you? Trying to shoot everything. And then like there's these like giant sandworms that are gonna like attack Vash and his friends. And like Wolfwood immediately, without hesitation, gets out his big like cross gun, and then Vash's like, "No, you can't." It's like, what? These things even like this? It's not even a person. It's like, no, any living thing you cannot kill. It's like, oh my god.
He eats meat, doesn't he? I could have sworn I saw him eating like bacon or something in an episode.
No, there's that one really hard meat that's difficult to cut, which they mention. Right, which is like literally it's a plot point in the movie because like it stops him from dying. So like I think it's just like a needless killing. I think that's killing for a purpose. Like, oh no, we need
okay,
yeah, because like again, like those sandworms again were like somebody was controlling them. He's like, no, don't kill them. Like so. Yeah.
That's okay, right? Yeah, okay.
Which would be interesting. I guess that's his next challenge. What if there's like a vampire race and they need to feed on human blood, and as a result of that, humans die. But that's their food. So, like, how would Vash react to that? So that would be interesting. That's another way to fuck up his mind and challenge him.
Yeah, again, like, I feel that's the most comic booky thing about Vash is, like, the whole mentality. It's like, oh, yeah, see, look what not killing has done. You've technically killed more people.
The movie has a beautiful answer to that, which is like, okay, so in the movie, Badlands Rumble, there's this woman who is, like, hates Vash because Vash saved a bank robber because he was about to die, and he came in and he stepped in to stop him, and then that's how the bank robber escaped. And then years later, because of him, the bank robber, the main girl's mom, dies. But then in the movie they answer like, yes, okay, it's because of Vash's actions that did happen, but at the same time, the bank robber is your dad, and you would not have been, the girl wouldn't even exist. So I feel like that's a beautiful answer. They're like, yeah, okay, sure. There is the bad side of him not killing, because like some people do get away with shit, but there's also the beautiful side. So I think that's the perfect economy of like good things happen and bad things happen, and like I think the movie illustrated that perfectly. We're like, yeah, sure, bad things happen to your mom, but at the same time, you wouldn't even exist as a person if Vash didn't do what he did. So yeah,
Vash is a great character.
Yeah.
Now I really want to go back and like rewatch the original, but I have so much
and then
other things I need to
do a video on it.
Have I done a Trigun video? I think I've probably talked about it way in the past.
Yeah, you've talked about it.
Or probably don't want to like look at anymore.
Yeah, you can
back
do
when I was like
redux
vlog
now.
Style. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't do that many anime videos. My main reason is like one, most of the anime I'm watching are not like necessarily that underrated. So I feel like I wouldn't have that much new to say about
the brand? Really?
Well, see, here comes the second part, which probably takes more precedent over that, being that like it's just hard editing anime clips.
Oh,
at least with manga, I like it's kind of a pain in the ass to get all the like pictures and everything, but at the end of the day, it's just pictures. But with manga and even tokusatsu, you had to like kind of just like go through a whole episode, pick out chunks and scenes that kind of reflect what you're saying, and that just gets really. I'm by no means a masterclass editor, but at least I try getting everything to match what I'm saying with on screen. When I make my videos, and then also YouTube being YouTube. Not that it doesn't happen with manga, it does, but it's less as big of a risk as with anime, with like studios coming at you with copyright claims. It still happens with manga, but it's like very rare, even though I did get really unlucky one day and I got like a double strike from, I think, Kodansha for a couple of series I was talking about.
Which sucks because again, like those were underrated series that like could have used more eyeballs, and like I don't. It's because like you're not like, oh, I'm gonna read the manga word for word, page for page, panel for panel. It's like, no.
I'm not like a manga historian. I'm just like, go read this. It's cool. Here's why. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's Manga Story, by the way.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
yeah, the guy who does comic story and is also doing manga story. So
I mean, I heard he's a good guy and everything. I just think it's like I
just
used to
don't like
watch
the
his
format.
videos when I was younger.
True,
Yeah.
but I don't like the format of his content. I like the way back issues from Comic Pop does it better, where it's like I'm not showing you anything. I'm just going to talk about it, like just in the air, and then like give my interpretation of it. Yeah,
Yeah, and I feel like with back issues, it's general enough that like I mean they might spoil things here and there, but still general enough where I feel like it won't necessarily take away the impact of it. Like you still have to read it to really
really get the grasp of it fully. They even mentioned like, hey, I'm not going to read the dialogue. Read the dialogue yourself because it's amazing. So because they just paraphrase it in their own way. They don't read it like.
Yeah,
so
like Comic Pop is a fantastic channel. Big help with me getting into comics.
Yeah, me too as well. Really big help. Yeah, so if anybody like watch that channel, like you will eventually get an idea. Like, okay, I want to start here. I want to start there. This is how I should read comics. Yeah, so it's a great resource. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic channel. But where were we going with this? So yeah, that's pretty much with Trigun, and then maybe I might give a shout out to another anime that's kind of related, but not really to Trigun. But the creator of Trigun, whose name I'm forgetting right now. Let me just look it up real quick.
Oh, even I don't know. Shit. Yeah, this is
I used to know the name of. Dude, fucking signed. I have his autograph.
Oh god, I didn't know that.
I feel really bad now. I have and he really. I think I told the story in the past. Like he really liked my name. Oh yes,
right.
Yeah. Okay, Yasuhiro Naito.
Naito-san, gomenasai.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. Please still think my name is cool. He has another series that I guess he didn't necessarily make. He did designs for it, but there's this video game series called Gungrave, which is like a stylish kind of shoot 'em up.
Oh,
and he does the artwork for that.
What about the anime? There's an anime called Gungrave.
Yeah, there is an anime for it, and it actually is really good. I don't think he has anything to do with the story, but like the anime is actually legitimately really good because it starts off as like a mafia series. And then slowly gets into like the super over the top like stylish guns, and like main character has like a coffin gun and shit like that. Really good anime that I don't feel people talk enough about.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it though like multiple times, but like as in like I've seen it like on lists and stuff as a series to watch, but like again like not many people talk about it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, so like that. Maybe that could be something you could put on your watch list.
The watch list, yeah.
Even though I've only seen it once in high school, so I do. That's another series I really do want to rewatch. It has a great soundtrack, and like the ending was really emotional.
Speaking of rewatching, like I feel like if you're rewatching something years later, that's okay. People who rewatch like I don't know something yearly or in a few months' time, I don't know. That's what I'm like.
I have a little brother that's big on that. There's certain shows that like he rewatches on repeat. Like for him, like I get it. It's kind of a tradition. Like he watches Avatar: The Last Airbender
every year.
Yeah, every year. And he even rewatches Legend of Korra, which he's not the biggest fan of, and he will complain about it while watching. I'm like, then stop watching it. But he rewatches that all the time, and then he will literally sit down and rewatch an entire show for the sake of someone else watching the show. But he does that way too often, which back when I had an anime club, I knew a lot of people that were like that for like Hero Academia. I'm like, at this point, just watch something else.
Oh yeah, you told me that there was a guy who watched Hunter x Hunter, the new one, 4 times or 5 times or something.
Yeah, it was like Hunter x Hunter, Hero Academia, and Dragon Ball. Those were the only shows he watched, and I'm like, just watch something else. He's like, oh, no other show can like provide with these 3 shows. I'm like, how do you know if you've only seen these 3 shows? How do you know there's nothing else you could get out of like the other series that inspired those series or series that were inspired by those series?
Like One Piece is like right there for you, bro. Like just right there.
But apparently One Piece is too long. But then I'm just like, that always hurts my head, because I'm like, if you calculate the amount of times you rewatch the show, I'm pretty sure you've neared like a good chunk of One Piece.
Yeah, you've neared 1,000 episodes already by just simply rewatching the same show. Yeah.
Yeah. That was always like, I think that was like the second most baffling thing that I came across as an anime club president. The first,
I like how we shit on this anime club a lot.
I do. See, listen. Sometimes when you love something enough, you shit on them a bit. I do miss my time as an anime club. It was probably like the highlight of my university experience. I got to meet a lot of great people through it. But I think the first most baffling thing, which I think we might have talked about on here, I forgot, but like I was showing Mazen Kaiser SKL to my club.
Oh, but this is my favorite comment.
This one guy, he was really into it. He was really into mechs, but like, he was a part, like there's a lot of people that were in my anime club, but they weren't necessarily anime fans. They were only in it because their friends were in it. So I'm like, cool, I'll introduce anime to these people. So this guy was a really big fan of mechs. I'm like, you know what? Let me cater to him. Let me show him like a really awesome mech show. So I showed him Mazen Kaiser SKL. A lot of people liked it. Some people were a little turned off by it because, you know, it's a lot. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go watch more during the weekend. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, tell me how it is. So like, you know, weekend comes, everyone's back in uni. I'm like, oh, so how did it go? He's like, you know what? That first episode was so good, I feel like I don't need to watch anymore. And I'm like, what? you don't get the full story? I'm like, okay. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or insult.
I think that was just a nice way of him saying he doesn't want to watch anymore.
I guess. But like, just that whole, like, that episode was so good, I don't need any more. Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I had enough of everything in that one episode, even though there's more in the second and the third, but no. That's it. That's a backhanded like compliment, I feel.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I do like the first episode of SKL. It is my favorite of the couple episodes we have of it, but still, like, I've just never heard anyone say that before. Like, I still think about it every now and then, like, just damn, he really just went like, that's good enough, no more. And walked away.
I think he forgot about it and didn't feel like watching it anymore, and he's like, let me come up with a very like nice way of putting it.
This guy could have said that to me. He, like, we were close enough where I feel like he could have just been like, nah, man, it's okay, I'm not into anime. Because, again, he was not that into anime.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird, because he's like, oh, I really love mechs. I'm like, there's like so much mecha anime.
You have no idea.
Then I also tried showing him like Get a Robo 2, which didn't have that much of a reaction either. Mm-hmm. I think maybe because he thought Get a Robo looked kind of stupid.
What? Okay.
Listen, through that, I love the anime club. I heard some of the weakest opinions on anime and manga in my life. I almost felt like becoming an elitist.
You have to watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes for that. Like that's
yeah. See, I remember back in the day there used to be this big like elitist starter pack, and it like I've seen most of the shows. It was like, you know, some Yuasa Masaki anime, which I've seen practically everything except Tokyo Sings. Rose of Versailles, which I've seen. Ashita no Joe, which I've seen. I forgot. There was like one other one that I think I've seen, and then it was like Legend of Galactic Heroes, which is tough because it's like 100+ episode war drama, and I don't think it has mechs. So I'm like, I'm not sure if my mental capacity is good enough for that.
You mean it doesn't have robots punching or shooting things? What the fuck?
Yeah, there's no robots flying in space with like laser cannons. What the fuck? Is there aliens at least? I don't think so either. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is a tough sell.
I'm still interested, but like, yeah, I would have to be in. It's gonna take me a while, but I'll eventually get to it. I am still excited and interested.
To me, it's like that anime I'll go to when I feel there's nothing in my backlog. which I guess is also a backhanded way of saying I'm never watching it because there's always something in that. I don't think, unless I became immortal or there really was a hyperbolic time chamber, I don't think that backlog is ever finishing.
I feel like, I thought you were going to say, I will watch it when the time is right, or something like that. Like, I don't know, after like, 10 years down the line, you're like very jaded about anime or something, or like you burnt out. It's like,
I think so. I think that will be the anime that when I'm truly jaded, because I've seen some anime reviews. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how jokingly they were, but they're like, yeah, after watching this, anime is not the same for me, and everything else is peasant trash to Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And I'm like, damn. And I tried watching the reboot, but then like,
don't people hate the reboot?
I really have not heard anyone talk about the reboot, but I don't think it covered everything, which is my main concern for not watching it, because like I don't want to watch it and then it never goes anywhere. Because I remember, I think around the same time there was like a Captain Tsubasa anime which got 50 episodes, but I don't think they ever went back to it. So I was kind of worried. I'm like, well, I don't want to get into it, and it just leaves me there. I mean, I guess you could always go back to the original, but there's always changes between these things. I don't want to go through that, like the headache of being like, okay, what did they change? What did they leave?
Yeah, don't tease me. Finish me off.
Yeah. Luckily, I feel like we're in that age with anime where we mostly get full adaptations for the most part.
I'm pretty glad sure it's happening without filler. That's my happiness. That, like, okay, it's like, if it's an adaptation, it's giving the manga time to like get way ahead because of the seasonal breaks, and so like we're cutting out the filler. We're not making like weird original content. If that's just in the movies with a higher budget, like it's a spectacle. Even then, like the mangaka is on board, so it might be canon. I don't know. My Hero Academia. Well, please answer that question.
See, for like, I'm not sure about Hero Academia. For One Piece, it's like. See, things didn't become like quote unquote canon until like Strong World.
Yeah.
Before all that is like yes, no, maybe, I don't know.
Why are you asking? You nerd? Stop.
Yeah, exactly. But for Strong World onwards, the movies being canon, I think what they say is like, yes, it is canon, but it doesn't match up with the manga's timeline, which is a confusing way of answering that. So, like, yes, these things happened, but it didn't happen chronologically with the manga. Like,
you know something that meme where someone writes yes and no in the exact same word. Like, you read it one way, it's yes. You read it another way, it's no. I feel like that's their answer.
Pretty much, because like I know of like Film Red, it incorporated a lot of things that were currently happening in the manga, and maybe even a little further ahead. Which gets confusing because I think at the time when Film Red came out, we're in the Wano arc. We're kind of past the Wano arc, but where Film Red was going, it didn't really make sense to happen after Wano, so it'd have to be before. But it also couldn't happen before. But it did happen, according to the producers at Toei. Film Red did happen, and apparently the director of the movie, because like in that movie you see like Shanks and a bunch of other characters, and like they actually do have fights, which doesn't happen that often because like we still don't know much about Shanks. Apparently the director said he didn't want to spoil the manga fans, so he purposely added a couple moves that they technically can't do.
Oh, okay.
Just so like when Oda gets to it, he has, some, because apparently the director for Film Red is a good friend of Oda's.
Okay.
And like he is like one of the few people that knows how One Piece is going to end.
Okay, so there is an ending. All right, at least there's an ending. Okay.
Oda's had an ending in mind. It's just he's crafting this like this epic,
this odyssey of One Piece. Yeah,
truly, I mean, like it really is an accomplishment in like comic book storytelling.
What it 100% is. It 100%.
Yeah, like when it ends, it's like it is like, a modern day masterpiece. Despite what you may think of One Piece, just the sheer amount of willpower and dedication Oda's pumped into One Piece, it really is a feat.
I'm pretty sure it'll have a different experience when you read it all at once when it ends. When you've all, like, I don't know, 500 volumes?
Yeah, because see, that's my thing. Because sometimes if I'm just reading something, I'm like, dude, this shit's fire. Like, I remember when we were reading Hero Academia, like, before I got caught up with it, which at the time when that happened, that was like probably where season 3 was before the anime got to it. But that's where I got caught up to the manga back in the day. And I'm like, dude, I might actually like Hero Academia more than One Piece because, I was like reading it all at once. But then once I got caught up, that feeling kind of died. I'm like, I mean, I still did enjoy Hero Academia, but like, I don't know, reading things week to week kind of takes away from that feeling of enjoyment to an like I do like it, but I also don't. I'm
realizing that I'm the sort of person that likes to binge, like keeping up to things week to week. Like I'm already fallen behind on Sakamoto. I've fallen behind on Chainsaw Man, Spy Family. Like these are reasons I was reading. Like first I was reading in chunks because I didn't start the series, but now that I've caught up, now that I'm waiting for I'm falling off, and I'm realizing that okay, I'm just not this sort of person. So I'm like, I was literally considering, maybe I should cancel Shonen Jump, my subscription. But then I'm like, oh no, wait, there's a lot of backlog. You still haven't read all of Dragon Ball again or Z again. And then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! There's also Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho. I want to watch that actually. I've already read it, but I wanted to go back to it again.
Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho is not on the Viz app.
Oh yeah, it's not on the. Never mind. Okay.
Which is still so weird. I'm like, why? Yeah. Just add it.
So I'm realizing. Okay, I've tried. I'm just not this person. Like I can't keep up with it on a week. I just read things whenever, and if I do, I binge read it on my own pace. That way, I don't forget things.
Yeah, I guess it's like I do enjoy the weekly thrill of it. It's something to look forward to for certain stuff. For certain things I read, it's kind of like how it's meant to be watched, like with Tokusatsu.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's meant to be like a week-to-week series you pop in for. And then I also since I have my own backlog, I like that I could experience something, but it doesn't really interfere with my backlog. I'm like, okay, this comes out on this day, I'll watch it this day, and then I can go back to my backlog.
Okay.
But I feel like sometimes there is this. I'm not the biggest binger, but because I'm more about just doing things on my own time, maybe a couple episodes a day or whatever. But just reading something in bulk, I think slightly enhances enjoyment to certain things. I mean, I'm a huge Chainsaw Man fan, so that I could keep up to weekly and I still maintain my hype for it because I just fucking love that series and Tatsuki Fujimoto, which now is kind of unpopular to say because now everyone loves him, so now everyone wants to rag on him. But
you loved him before he was cool.
Exactly, I loved him before he was cool. See, you like Chainsaw Man because Denji is just like you for real, and it's deep and all the characters. I like it because the man has a chainsaw for a face. I just think that is.
I mean, there's that aspect too, but if it was,
dude, that was the reason why I read the series.
No, that's cool. That's the hook. That's how they bring you in. But how to make you stay there is okay, you gotta have cool fights, but you gotta have cool characters, cool themes, motivations, character arc, character growth, and all these things are what make you stay. Obviously, the initial catch, but it was just I don't know. The guy with a chainsaw face. What does he do? He makes omelets. I don't.
I still would have read it. I'm telling you, when it comes to shit like that, I'm absolutely weak. Chainsaw Man could have been the dumbest thing in the world.
I think you're saying it, but if you were that person, you would have loved Spawn.
But see, Spawn does nothing with the concept.
Making omelets is doing nothing with the chainsaw.
He would probably use his chainsaw arms to cut the vegetables for the omelets or something like that. Or maybe he has a cafe or restaurant called Cafe Chainsaw. So it would probably Spawn's I have all this cool power. I'm not going to use it.
Oh god.
I'm literally the coolest character ever imagined, but I'm sad.
Okay.
And apparently Todd McFarlane, his ideal Spawn movie is a Spawn movie where Spawn doesn't show up.
What? I didn't know this. Oh, wow.
Apparently, I've heard like he wants like a Spawn movie where it's more horror based, and he barely shows up. I'm like, he's like the whole reason why people like for the most part why people like Spawn.
Design,
it's the design and the fact that he's like some demon ghostwriter guy with like all these unique abilities.
Yeah,
no. Like he's not a horror movie monster. Like you need to show him.
You can do a horror movie with Spawn. Like Spawn needs to still be there.
Yeah, he'll be there, but like I know that like from what I've heard, there's like some comic issues where he kind of like pops in and out, but he's like not the main focus. Which I feel like that could work, but like not for a character like Spawn. I feel
and not
like
for a whole 2-hour movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a horror movie monster.
Oh, jeez. I didn't know that. My God. McFarlane, don't direct it. Just get somebody else to do.
I mean, probably someone else will direct it, but like I know from what I've heard of McFarlane, he really wants
badly, and I don't understand why. You've never made a film in your life.
He's really about, this is mine.
I get it, but like, dude.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta
Sometimes
make money as well.
Yeah. And also, like, I know he wants to do like a Spawn cartoon again too, which I think still could work.
Yeah.
I mean, see, like I think I've heard it's been years since this information came out, and it was like a tabloid, so like who knows how accurate it was, but like he wants like an adult cartoon and like a kid cartoon, which could work.
Yeah, no, there's actually a kid-friendly Spawn comic. I think it's called Spawn X or something. I don't know, but I remember
it would be hilarious if I read that and I wind up liking that more than
try it. Honestly, who knows?
Probably. I watched this. I'm like, yo, this is dope as hell.
There's a Spawn-friendly kid comic. It's not long. It's not like 100 issues, but like it's there. It exists. So try it out. Maybe
it's like a kid comic, and then he's still like a superhero, or a kid comic, and he's like a chibi, and he's
no. It's not chibi. No, he is. It just has like cartoony, like like Justice League, you could say animated style, like art style. And,
okay.
And it's like just more like you could show it to a kid. Like, yeah.
Because like after watching the Spawn animated show, I'm like, what, if they do make a Spawn cartoon, I really feel like Gendy should do it. Because like Gendy will make sure.
Yeah, there is action.
No, not only that, Gendy will make sure my main problem I had with the Spawn anime or cartoon. Will not happen, and that's because like in the Spawn cartoon, everyone just won't shut the fuck up. There's like an unnecessary narrator that is like narrates over Spawn like it's like a nature documentary, because like you see Spawn like sulking on top of a church, and the narrator is like, the hell Spawn sulking because he's no longer a man. I'm like, I can see it. This is a very powerful image. You could have just let that like settle. I'm not stupid. This is an adult cartoon. Treat me like an adult. There's blood and titties here. Let the scene soak in. I don't need it explained to me. And like Gendy would make sure that happens, because he literally did an entire show where
nobody talks.
When someone talks, it's like, oh shit, someone talks. So yeah,
and when they talk, you don't even understand them.
Exactly, unless you can speak those languages.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that one episode that was like everyone talked, but that was still a great episode. Yeah, great. Even though, like, if Primal doesn't continue, that would be a very wasted.
I actually went back on my seat when they was like talking. It was like, oh my god, I can understand them.
Yeah, like holy shit, English in my Primal. There's no dinosaur. What the fuck? Yeah, Primal was a great show. Gendy, see, like Gendy and Greg Wiseman, I feel like those two, they just need to be given all the money they need, and just have them do whatever the fuck they want.
I'm glad Greg Wiseman is taking Young Justice to it's still going. He's actually like having a complete it's going to have a proper ending. I'm hoping for Young Justice.
Right. And then,
which I feel like now is just a Justice League show, is it? I mean, I haven't seen past seasons.
It's kind of morphed into that. Like a lot of the Young Justice characters are either in the Justice League or they're heavily collabing with the Justice League. It's a DC show.
Yeah,
it's a DC Universe show.
I'm glad. I'm just like, okay, it's not really Young Justice, and it's just Justice at this point.
Yeah, we're past that point, which I feel like it makes sense narratively. Yeah. It's not like they just jumped the gun. And
there was somebody on Twitter who was complaining like, "Oh my god, Young Justice is not like the comic." I'm like, yeah, but it's still a good show, bro. Like,
yeah, I think like you go to a superhero cartoon and be like, "Oh, it's not like the comic." I'm like, yeah, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's possible to, like, for the kids' cartoon to perfectly adapt the comics.
Yeah, true. Especially, like, ones with, like... Because it's all about sidekicks, so you need to, like, do the lineage as well. So, like, but either way, I still want to watch... I feel like Young Justice is the closest successor you have to Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still annoyed that we're in a world that is so invested into comic book superhero movies. Well, maybe not so much anymore, because like the last couple comic book superhero movies haven't been really hitting as hard as they used to.
Yeah.
And like the fatigues. Well, see, I'm not sure if it's fatigue or just the lack of studios making actual good movies. I feel it's a mix of both.
I would agree with you. It's a mix of both. I think it's a part. I think it's maybe them making the same movie that we've seen again and again. And we're like,
because I'm still super excited for Spider-Verse, but whatever the fuck DC and Marvel are doing, I'm like,
Shazam is the only movie I was looking forward to. And the Batman.
Here.
And the Batman. Yeah, those were the ones. But I haven't seen the Batman yet. I'm gonna, but it's like, because it's 3 hours, I'm like, okay, I need to find like time for this.
Yeah, it was, I still haven't seen Joker. I saw the Batman.
Really?
I have not seen Joker.
Honestly.
Oh, it's not that good?
It's not what I wanted.
I mean, I saw like the scene on YouTube, like the whole "you get what you fucking deserve." That's as much as I see.
It's just, it's very. I found it pretentious. Okay, so that's why
I see.
I'm like, okay, it's one of those "we live in a society" movies.
Well. Does he actually say that?
No,
where did that come from?
But it feels like it's one of you. That's the vibes it gives off.
See, I legitimately thought like that was a quote from the movie because
it's a meme, but the meme describes the vibes perfectly.
Okay, so that's basically it's morbing time before it's morbing time.
It's that version's morbid time. Yeah,
I wonder if the comics will ever acknowledge that. Like if Morbius shows up. And, like, I'm pretty sure he won't say it's morbing time, but if, like, Spider-Man will reference it.
If he does, it'll be a joke, and then they'll be, like, if he says it, it'll be as a joke, and then Spider-Man will, like, make fun of him for it. Like, because, like, this is a meme. But I guarantee you, they'll be 3 years late. After the meme's, like, gone. I mean, it's already old now.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But I still see people, like, reference it.
Yeah.
So... It's become a part of people's like vocabulary.
Morbius got a movie. Jeez.
And the fact that it did bad, they took it off theaters, and then because of memes,
twice.
they're like, and because of memes, they're like, oh, maybe I'll put it back. And then like apparently they're trying to do a whole universe of like these C-tier Spider-Man villains. Like they're going to do one for like Hypno Hustler or something like that.
No, Hypno Hustler is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, okay. I thought they were just going to make him have his own movie.
Whoever decided that needs to be fired.
Yeah, and then there's like a recent like a luchador villain that's going to be getting apparently a movie too.
Oh, I don't know any luchador villains.
Apparently he's like a newer villain, which everyone was like, this is even more confusing.
Oh, okay.
Like he's like. He's not even C tier. He's like Z tier.
There's one. He's a Z-list, but I like him a lot. I don't know why. I like his costume. His name is the Tarantula. He's got like really pointy toes. Like his shoes have like these sharp ends on it, and he uses to like cut people. And he's like acrobatic and stuff. And he's like, I think he's Puerto Rican. And he just like jumps around and like but again, he is also like very Z-list villain.
Yeah, I don't know what Sony's trying to do. I mean, I guess it's hard because like they own Spider-Man, but they can't.
No, they own. They have the film rights, so they can make any movie they want.
I mean, the film.
It's just that every movie they've made, besides the first two Tobey Maguire movies, have been a failure. So, yeah. I know, but like until they started the MCU partnership, that's how you got the Home trilogy thing.
Yeah, having Venom without Spider-Man's like a weird choice.
Yeah. now, how do you feel after reading some comics about Venom and then seeing the Venom movie?
See, I've only properly experienced Ultimate Venom.
The Ultimate Venom.
Very different than
oh, really? Okay, I thought
Venom.
it was like just the origin was different, but I thought the character would still be.
Oh no! See, in Ultimate, the Venom's not even an alien. He's like a experiment.
An experiment goop monster. Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to cure cancer.
Little did you know.
And then he became the cancer.
Oh, God. Okay, we should
And
get
Carnage
back to
is basically Venom with like blood in it. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say with cocaine in it. Yeah.
I'm you, but with cocaine.
Because he's like twice as crazy as Venom.
That's true. I mean, in Ultimate, they don't really have personalities. It's just like a monster.
Oh, okay. No, in the main universe, they have definite personalities. Okay.
Yeah, which I'm a fan of. But then I've recently found out, like, over the years of comic books, of course, they've had to give like them all backstory, so they're no longer just an alien thing.
I mean, they are still an alien thing, but the alien thing has a backstory.
Yeah, but now they're like noble creatures that have a god, and they have names. They're not just goop that came out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, that's a little too far. No, like,
oh God, you heard it here, folks. Shaheen does not like Donny Cates.
See, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I've heard his Venom run is good.
Yeah, it's one of the best like Venom runs ever. Yeah,
but like I've heard from like everything else he does, he's like he kind of seems like a one trick. Like I haven't properly read anything from him, but what I've heard, it seems like big epic cosmic death, some giant fuck you monster that the villains have to destroy that, like, you know, is so powerful, but we've never heard of it before. Which I'm like, I know there's a lot of people that hate it. I'm okay with it because like it makes sense. How many times are you going to do Galactus or Thanos? You know, you have to have something new come in. Yeah, so I'm fine with that. Again, I'm a shonen fan first, so there's always another villain.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I'm a Toku fan first. Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's see with Toku though. For the most part, it's just,
it is live action
up against.
Shonen.
Yeah, it is. No, not only that with Toku, like for the most part in a show, like we're all after just one evil organization.
Yeah, true.
For the most part, there's some shows where like they defeat the evil organization like mid-season, and then next episode's like, haha, no, we are like the real ones operating that one from the shadows. Fuck you.
Jeez. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we got to get back to anime now. We've gone on.
Right, we're straying too far. The little alarm is dinging.
Yeah, there was a segue you made which I wanted to use, but I'm going to use it now because I don't care. Fuck you. You talked about how like Trigun had cool guns, and speaking of cool guns, let's talk about Akiba Made War.
Ah, yes. One of the most surprising anime I watched last year was unfortunately a bit overshadowed because it came out in like the fall season. So, you know, that was the same month of like Chainsaw Man, Hero Academia, Mob Psycho, and then Bocchi the Rock, which became like the most popular anime last year. So like it was like massively overshadowed by a bunch of different animes, but like more people should have watched it. I almost skipped out on it because when you look at it, I literally thought it was just going to be a cute girl slice of life show.
Yeah, I thought I thought it was like, cute, but it has war in the title. Though.
See, there's some animes I've watched in the past. Like there's this anime that came out like years ago that was called Rail Wars.
I think I've heard of it. Okay.
I only remember it for booty shots. That's it. Wow, it's just about not even just young cute girls. It was just like characters working in like a train station. Occasionally, I think there was some action, but besides that, I think it was just a generic show that had like fan service shots, which I think was the only reason why I came back week to week. No staying power at all. I'm like not even sure if the booty shot I'm envisioning is even from that particular anime.
Is this the one that Giguk made a video about because it uses like actual like science in the superpowers of the people, or
for Rail Wars?
Yeah, for Rail Wars.
No, Rail Wars is just about a train station. There's no superpowers.
Oh, never mind. Okay, then I think about it something else. Okay.
Yeah. No, see, I probably would have remembered it more. So see, that's why I was like when I saw Akiba Maid War, I'm like, they're probably going to use the word war, but it's just going to be like a slice of life. Whatever.
I thought it was going to be like cute girls doing cute things, like I don't know, like Blend S or I'm blanking on another cute girls does cute things anime.
I mean, there's tons of them. There's like
there's
Camp
tons of them.
and Nichicho. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that when I'm in the mood, but like again, with that season that had all those bangers, I wasn't like,
Yeah.
The cute girl show was Bocchi the Rock, which like everyone was talking about. So I'm like, I already wasted that space.
Yeah, but then I saw the word war, and I'm like, okay, there might be some action in it. And then I watched it, and then I'm like, oh my god! Like, so for those who don't know, Akiba Maid War, please watch it. It's only 12 episodes. It's basically like, what if all these maid cafes were actually like gangster organizations, and what if they were like rivals and killed each other with like guns and knives and everything? Like basically, they're like the mafia, but in Akibahara. And don't get me wrong, it's not like, oh, it's just a gangster story with maids painted on it. No, they commit to the maid act. Like, when there's, like, all of them are talk about, like, oh, no, we have to be the best maid, and we have to service our masters and mistresses when they come into the restaurant. And, like, when they talk, they use their in-character, like, maid voice. So it's like, they'll shoot a person and be like, if they're a cat, they'll be like, Nya at the end. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's so committed to the bit. Like it knows it's kind of like
ridiculous. I mean,
but like it still commits so hard to it.
Yeah. It commits equally hard to being a gangster show and a maid show at the same time.
Right. Like the main group of maids, they come from like the Oinky Doink cafe.
Which I'm like, you made. Because, like, okay, they did cats, sheep, cows, or whatever. Then, like, you did pigs. Okay, all right. I mean, there's only so many animals.
And I like about it, like, their cafe is, like, pig-oriented, but their mascot's a panda. It's, like, not even a giant pig. It's just, like, it's a panda.
Yeah, which surprised me about that. I thought the panda was just... Okay, I thought, like, it was a guy in the suit, and he was just, like, the one guy in this maid cafe thing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but then it's like, oh no, it's that girl from the first shot of the show.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay.
It was a really well done show. I was watching that week to week, and I'm like, this is way better than I thought it was going to be, because I was initially going to skip it until I heard. I saw a couple of videos talking about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, luckily, I think some of the bigger YouTube channels talked about it, but then it always makes me question my own recommendations, because, like, I still don't see that many people talk about Akiba Maid War. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a very good show, and it's just 12 episodes. The way it ended, there's probably not going to be a season 2. I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they still could, but like,
there doesn't need to be.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be. That's the thing. It doesn't need to be.
Like, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen, it ended off perfectly.
It ended off perfectly. It'll probably take away years later, because the way it ends is that, like, oh, peace has finally prevailed. The maids are going back to normal and just being maids. Like, literally, there's an end credit scene where two guys show up and they're bringing a new friend along, and they're like, back in the 90s, they used to kill each other. He's like, what? He's like, never mind.
Also, like, if you're watching the show, do watch that end credit scene, because the way the last episode ends, if you don't watch
the first episode has an end credit scene, and the last episode has an end credit scene. Yeah, so...
if you don't watch that end credit scene, you're going to be like, oh, damn, this anime just...
Yeah, it's very dark and stuff.
It got really fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also gives commentary on the whole, like, maid thing, and how, like, it is kind of humiliating over with the character Yumechi, because, she's, like, the number one maid in the Oinky Doink, and, she's, like, full on into the whole, like, cute girl maid thing, and they're like, yeah, she had to, like, lose a part of her humanity to commit to that. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, yeah, like, honestly, like, maid cafes are, like, one thing, like, I don't think I could ever go to.
Yeah, no, I thought I wanted to. Then I actually saw, like, YouTubers going to maid cafes, and it's very cringy in real life. It works in anime. I don't know why, but like I think maybe because you're like it's another reality kind of distance from it. You're in a high.
So even sometimes when I see it in anime, it's kind of cringy. Maybe because I've worked in like the service industry, so I'm like, the thought of doing this to people. Because then, like for me, like I think the whole thing. You
don't want to moe moe kyun with them, Shaheen?
Listen, if I knew them personally. But if it's just a complete stranger, because like I haven't been a maid, but you know I've worked in hotels and restaurants and all that. So like I don't know. My whole thought would be like, what does this person think of me as they're like pouring ketchup on my amu rice? Like, are they judging me?
Oh. I mean, if you're a cute girl, they probably
do. They think I'm disgusting. Like, what's the catch here? Because I'm pretty sure that comes, like, you know, there's, like, fat old dudes that come up that just want, like, the moi moi kyun. So I'm like, the judgment.
Oh, my God, yeah. My favorite character, I think is your favorite character, too, Ranko Manin. She is, like, the soldier, drill sergeant, stoic face, stoic voice. But, like, my God, she is so committed to being a maid, and she's so bad at it that... Oh my God, she is so much fun to watch. She's the most violent out of all of the maids. Because she was like... I don't think she was trained as a soldier. I thought... Because that's how it comes off. But I think she's just like... She was in prison a long time, so she picks it up from there.
I mean, I keep a maid where I haven't... It made me really want to watch, like, Yakuza movies.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of it does take cues from... Yakuza movies, like
I mean, you feel that in the ending, like you know, with the very classical like jazz song. Yeah,
the ending song kind of has that. Like, I mean, I really should watch more Yakuza movies. I'm pretty sure that's probably right up both of our alleys.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen Yakuza movies, but I've seen like you know Asian action movies from Hong Kong and stuff that are like all about like you know. Guns and stuff like hard boiled and stuff. That is right up my alley though. But yeah, I should really watch more. The same thing happened to me when I was reading Usagi Yojimbo, and I'm like, I gotta watch more samurai like movies. That is also another thing I have to watch.
That too. I need. Well, see, I feel like I still need to read like Lone Wolf and Cub and Samurai Executioner.
Oh, I just read Usagi Yojimbo. So.
I mean, I want to like watch. I mean, not watch. Read all three. Watch me become the annoying person. I read Lone Wolf and Cub. This is a peak comic. How dare you bring Vagabond into this conversation?
Oh my God,
that would be the most contrarian thing I could do.
Yeah, you'd be like, and then they'll respond with "Okay, Boomer" or something like that because it's old. Oh
yeah, God.
Oh, geez, man, there's so much good things out there. I mean, we've said this millions of times, but like, it is frustrating because there's so many good things out there and we don't have time for all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like almost feel like there should be no more new productions. Let me catch up before you think of making anything new.
I mean, speaking of Yakuza, I really want to play the Yakuza games. Those.
Oh, that too. I have like the remakes for 1 and 2 and 0.
Okay.
And I played a bit of 0 and I was enjoying it, but then I didn't have that much time for it. And then I got into like RPG games, which, you know, the 7th Yakuza game is an RPG inspired by Dragon Quest, which is one of my favorite video game franchises right now. So I'm like, fuck, I really need to get back into it.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the official English mangas to release for was it Dragon Quest Dai? What is it again?
Oh, so you might be waiting for a while for that because apparently for the Dragon Quest Dai series, I think it will probably all come out on the Jump app.
Yeah.
But like, I think in terms of Viz releasing it, they're like taking a break from it, or they might just drop it.
Oh no,
which sucks. I mean, I'm hoping like at least the Jump app will have everything, and they're just not going to do the official release. It's just going to be all
the volumes, the tankobons.
Yeah. Because I think they were being released in like not like hardcover omnibuses, but they're being like released in like 2-in-1s, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. Because the volumes are bigger, right?
Yeah. Which the Dragon Quest series is good for anyone that's still listening. The Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai. It's a very standard shonen series, but in the best way possible.
Yeah, I mean, you made a video on it, so yeah, please watch that video if you need to get talked into it.
And the anime also came out. The anime was pretty good.
Oh, I thought you hated it.
No, the anime was good. I mean, it's a Toei adaptation, so I feel like it's maybe it's just because I like the pace of manga, because like in manga you can kind of read at your own pace, so when you're watching an anime you're kind of locked into the director's pace, so maybe I felt it was a bit slow for certain parts, but for the most part it was, from what I've heard, because I kind of dropped off midway because there was a lot of things to also watch while it was airing. But it was a full adaptation. I did watch the final episode. The final episode was really well done. So either manga or anime, definitely check out The Adventures of Dai.
Yes. Oh, God. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's it. Maybe on top of Adventures of Dai, also play Dragon Quest. It's a very good video game series.
I need to get my Switch. I can't wait till it comes here.
Oh yeah, you could play some Dragon Quest games on that. You got Dragon Quest 11.
Yes, that's the one. That's the only one I know because of Donkey.
Yeah, Dragon Quest 11 is pretty good. It's a good starting point. If you have like a DS, you could get a lot of the other ones, which are also really good. But yeah, Dragon Quest is a great series. Some of the best monster designs, and a lot of them have like pun names, so it's good. Good.
Yeah. So what other animes are you currently watching, since you're keeping up with the seasonal stuff?
Seasonal, it's Trigun Stampede. Then Tomo-chan is a girl.
You're watching that? Okay, I need to. I read the manga years ago. And,
it is a very 7 out of 10 show, but I feel every now and then you need something like that. Just like as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I would even say like low key 6 out of 10. But
okay.
It's all right. Like, there's some episodes I really enjoy, and there's other episodes where I'm like, that was just something I watched. I really have not that many feelings towards it.
Okay.
Because it's like one of those shows where like it kind of blows its load on its concept in the first episode, and like every now and then we get close to following that up, but then other times I'm just like, I don't know. It's hard to describe for me. I think it's very okay. If I remember the manga
correctly, the joke is that like the girl really likes the guy, but the guy is either just dense or being dense on purpose because he wants to keep the friendship alive with the girl.
Right.
And the girl is very tomboyish, and he thought that the girl was a boy when they were young. That's what I remember.
Exactly. For I think until they were in middle school, he thought that she was a guy.
Yeah, but it's just a typical like rom-com, like, manga show, whatever.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like, because I sometimes, because I know everyone mostly knows me for like, monsters and hot-blooded manly action series, but like every now and then, I can't constantly consume that stuff. I do watch, a comfy slice of life show every now and then. So that was kind of like mine. That was seasonal. Then I'm also watching Buddy Daddies.
What? I haven't heard of this. What the heck?
You haven't heard of it? Okay.
No.
So how would I describe it? I'm looking it up right
now. What the heck is this?
Okay. It's not the way you think it would be.
Okay.
So basically, it almost feels like I'm not sure if this is based off something that came out beforehand, but it does feel like an anime that saw Spy Family and was just like, I could do this too. And it works. It really does work. I do enjoy it.
Okay.
So like these two assassins that work together, and they're doing a job. They're doing a hit. They kill like this politician, and they wind up taking care of his daughter, and kind of like raising his daughter.
Oh my god, this looks really fun. What the heck?
It's really good. The little girl, hot take, I think is cuter than Anya.
Oh my god!
She acts more like a real little girl. So like, she's
them's fighting words. God, I mean, I haven't seen the series, so I can't argue with you.
Listen, Anya's cute and everything, but like, she also doesn't necessarily always act like a little girl.
But she can read minds.
Yeah, but like, just because you can read minds doesn't mean you're not like a child.
She's getting more information than a normal child would, so like it makes sense.
Does she use that to an extent? No, she's still dumb as a peanut. But no, like it's a very cute series. It's actually not that action oriented, and with a name like Buddy Daddies, like I feel like there's a lot of people that are going into it thinking it was going to be like really gay.
Yeah.
But like I feel like the series completely shoots that down because it opens up with like the blonde guy like sleeping with another girl and like walking away. So it's like, yeah, this is not a gay show. I'm like, okay, that was a way to take it, but it's funny because like the main girl, when like eventually they have to take her to daycare, and she refers to both of the hitmen as her daddy or papa.
Oh, everybody assumes, yeah.
No, so like all of like the moms that drop off their kids, they're always like gossiping about them. They're like, oh, like look how hot they are. But like I don't think anyone questions if they're together or not. That never really gets brought up, which is interesting. Like, but it's a really cute show. And
how come I've never heard of this? Jeez, this sounds like
I don't
right
think
up
that
my
many
alley.
people are talking about it. It's a good show. I feel like the teacher character is very cute.
Okay.
Even
All
though
right,
she
that's
doesn't
next
appear that
on my
much,
watch
but
list. I
yeah.
think I'll watch it today because I need something to like laugh. I finished Trigun. I finished Akiba Maid War. I just finished season 1 of Megalobox. And speaking of a show where I feel it's 7 out of 10, this is it. It had so much potential at the beginning. It's good. It's not bad. I'm never going to say it's a bad show. Good characters, good character growth, good drama, but like it never reaches the heights that I thought it would, and it also kind of betrays the cool concept at the beginning. For those who don't know, so it's a boxing sports anime, and this is my problem as someone who's like read Haikyuu, watched Ace of Diamond, and has seen pro wrestling because, like, you know, I like pro wrestling. I'm trying to keep up with it, but it's difficult to. But like again, it's very sure like this guy's going to fight this guy, and this guy has this drama with this guy, and this, they're going to fight it out in the ring, and it's going to be a full like it's a whole like drama spectacle, but with punching. The fights themselves never reach the heights that you want them to as either a fight or as a sports anime thing. So that was my like gripe with it. My another gripe with it was that like there's not the gears don't really factor in that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because if you don't know the main character, he fights gearless, and when it comes to characters with gears, they don't even really talk about the gears. It's just something they have, and it knows, okay, someone with a gear is going to have an advantage. There's only one gear, actually. It's an AI gear that makes the choices for you. That's the only one they explain and talk about. The rest, they don't really go into it. It's just generic, oh, it has more power and more speed, but they don't really go into it that much else. They look cool, but again, like, they get beaten up by a guy who has no gears. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, see, like, Megalobox is a series I was very conflicted with because, like, I do enjoy aspects of it. I do love its styling, the music.
Yeah, the music,
that.
the styling, the animation itself is very good. Yeah.
Yeah. But Megalobox is kind of inspired and kind of like a weird remake of Ashido no Joe, which is probably one of the most iconic anime out there and also one of my personal favorites. So I was more hyped than the average person for Megalobox when it was announced. And
I haven't seen Ashido no Joe, so I'm just taking this at face value. And I mean, we've both seen the Rocky and Creed movies. It doesn't even live up to those boxing matches and scenes. So, like,
yeah, it's just it's a good show, but I feel like some of the ideas don't pay through. I would have liked for Joe to have a more of a character. I mean, he's a good character, but like the way he was like, he seemed like he was going to be more of like hard edged, you know, just really ready to fight his way to the top. But he's really just kind of a chill guy.
Yeah, he's a really chill guy who really loves boxing and wants to be the best. Again, not bad. It's not a bad. Like nothing in this show is like, oh my god, this is awful. But it also, nothing about it is like super stands out. So you're kind of just in this middle of the road thing. The only thing that I would say is bad is that like the gears are not really much of a factor in the show. That's the only thing, because I feel like it starts off with that premise, especially in all of the marketing and stuff. And at the beginning of the show, you think like, oh, because like, how does it differentiate itself from a regular like boxing show, like a Hajime no Ippo or something? Oh, it has these like mechanical gear things, but it never goes like I don't know, super robot with it, or even like real robot either. But it's just sort of like there, but like it doesn't really matter because your main character doesn't use gears. So
it's the second season I did like a little bit more, mainly like its first half, which doesn't actually have that much of Joe in it. Well, it does, but he's kind of like sidelined for a bit for a different character, which I really did like that storyline. I mean, Joe does go through an interesting journey through the second season. It's a bit more darker. But yeah, I don't know. Megalobox is definitely an anime I appreciate in terms of like from a technical perspective and everything and what it set out to do, but it just didn't connect that much with me.
Same. It doesn't. I don't have much to say about it. It didn't connect that much with me either. I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate the themes and the messaging as well in the show. Like, I mean, it's typical sports themes. Like, you know, be the best, work hard towards, make sure you make friends along the way, blah blah. But like, yeah, it's just like, all right, cool. It's just a nice 7 out of 10 show. Yeah.
Yeah. I do love the opening.
There are things in it. Like, there are 2 moments in it that are like really stand out. When the coach takes out his own eye, that I felt like, oh, that was a big moment, which I think that was awesome. And then when the main rival, it's like surgically attached to him, so it's not something he just put on; it's part of his body. Him taking that off, that was a major moment. But also, I mean, one character says it. It's like ridiculous. You make this whole tournament about who's the best gear boxer, but your 2 finalists are fighting without gears.
Yeah, and like, I guess it's supposed to be like, yeah, you know, this is how it's supposed to be. This is the real sport. But then, like, I feel like we never really got to see.
Yeah, the fantastical sport with gears. Like, how did you not, like, nobody gets like
I feel that was like a main part of the marketing when it was coming out, because I was watching it weekly. So then like, it was even more of a surprise where I'm like,
they don't do anything with the concept of the gears. Like, no one gets punched out of the ring, like flies through the air, or like, again, like, they don't go super robot with it.
Yeah, I almost wanted to become like a battle shonen. I'm like, give me a gear that like fucking rocket punches or something.
Yeah, it's rocket punches, or like, I don't know, has jets in it or something, but like, nah.
Because otherwise, what's kind of the point? You're literally, it's just boxing, but like, I have to put on an uncomfortable metal on me.
The metal thing around my arms and shoulders, yeah.
And it's not like you're physically stronger, so like, I don't know.
No, I think for some of them it does enhance their strength and speed, but like, again, like, okay, sure. And because they make a point to point out that like Joe's gear sucks. It's like a piece of junk. I'm like, okay, but like, how though? Like, you never explained to me.
I mean, like, it was just like, I think it was just like, it was low tech. You know, everyone else has these fancy companies.
But he beat them with it, and he beat them without it even. So like, okay.
See, that's why I almost wish that it kept on. It's like, yeah, you know, it's a low tech, but it has a lot of heart or something like that.
That's what that movie did. The one with Hugh Jackman, Robot Wars or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Real Steel.
The Real Steel. That's the one. Yes. Yeah, it's like an old model and it's low tech, but because it has a lot more heart and it uses different devices, other opponents will not be expecting its advantages, and you can play around with that. But no, they don't. They really don't. Like,
but I mean,
is that a hot take? Honestly, I feel like that's a hot take.
I mean, it's not like, I know there's people that definitely did like Megalobox, but I don't think it's like, you know, like this anime masterpiece everyone must worship.
By the way, you were going to speak about the opening. I interrupted you.
I was going to say the opening is like the only thing I mainly come back to for the anime, because I do love that first opening. It kind of captures the vibe that I wish the anime actually had, of this guy just like on the edge, just desperately trying to make his way to the top, which to an extent he does, but I don't feel like it's as drastic.
I felt it more from the coach, because the coach had a lot on the line. I think the main boxer didn't care,
Right.
I mean, I think like Joe didn't care if okay, you know, if I live or die, my life sucks anyways. But like the coach, I definitely felt that desperation from him. Like, no, I need to live. I'm not gonna let this gangster kill me because like obviously they owe the gangster a lot of money. That's why they're doing all the things they're doing.
Yeah, because like again, someone that was a big fan of Shaheen no Joe, I feel like Joe was more of a junk dog, mad dog than the Joe we have in Megalobox. I mean, we're talking about this like kid that just has nothing and barely anyone's ever been nice to him, and he kind of like hates the world, but through this sport of boxing, you know, he kind of matures as a man, but he's still kind of an asshole. I mean, he's mainly fueled to do boxing out of spite because he winds up going to prison with this other guy, and this other guy's really big into boxing. He's like, oh fuck this guy, I'm gonna beat him in boxing, and so he takes up boxing properly from there. I was kind of like, because him and the rival, like in Megalobox, like the big, I forgot, was his name Yuri?
Yeah, his name was Yuri.
Yeah, like because like in the original Ashino no Joe, between Joe and like the, I guess, original version of Yuri, his name's Rikishi. Oh, that is like one of the greatest anime rivalries ever. Like, we're talking about two guys that like push themselves to the absolute limit to like fight each other in the ring, and it's such a beautiful, heartbreaking, and just amazing rivalry. And then what we get in Megalobox, I'm like, yeah, okay, that they had time with each other, but it wasn't like. Yeah, it wasn't. Didn't leave that much of an impact.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, it didn't leave in the show tries, but like, still nothing much because they barely interact with each other. They're very separated for most of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, and Joe, you know, they were like in prison together. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Joe, like in their initial match, he cheats because he knows Rikishi is like a better boxer than him, so he stuffs his boxing glove with rocks.
Oh my god, okay.
Like, Joe's an absolute bastard. He is an absolute bastard. But Shaheen no Joe, a fantastic series. If you can, watch it. I know it's old. It's like from the fucking 70s, but it is truly a one-of-a-kind series. And obviously very iconic and influential. If you've been watching anime long enough, you've probably come across an Ashino no Joe reference and just did not know it. Like, if you ever see like a cross counter or a guy kind of sitting backwards with his head down and the color fades around him, those are all Ashino no Joe references.
See, I feel like you're gonna. I don't know if you might hate this. You might find it funny. It feels like if I watched Ashino no Joe, or then if I watched Ashino no Joe right now, I'll be like, man, Megalobox is the anime Die Ranger. Because from what you're telling me, it sounds so much better than what we got in Megalobox. And then I'm like, man, fuck Megalobox.
The only thing I'll give Megalobox is Ashino no Joe, at least until season 2. I mean, some of the fights are good, but like, there's this one fight where like Joe is just spamming the same move over and over and over and over again. But like, I feel Joe's a lot more of a character based drama than a sports series. Mm-hmm. Which, you know, that in itself works. Just now I want to rewatch that too now. Fuck.
I haven't seen it, so for me it'll be a first time watch.
Yeah, it's definitely a series to watch, and hopefully one people could give a chance despite its age, because I mean,
see, I would be like apprehensive, but like after Gundam, I'm like, I can handle 70s animation. It's fine.
Yeah, I feel like it's good, and then when it gets to season 2, which is like I think in the 80s, like the animation quality kind of like jumps up. Mm-hmm. But it's a really good show, and like for its time, because it was directed by Osamu Dezaki, who's like a very influential director. He makes the most out of like limited budget and animation to create some like really unique shots that feels like hard to replicate. I mean, there's been a lot of replications since then, paying homage to Dazaki and Joe. But
I mean,
there's something
Megalobox
about
is
the
an
original.
homage to
Exactly.
the 50th anniversary of Shiro no Joe or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe is a good series. Definitely go watch that. Go watch Trigun, Akiba Maid War, Gungrave, and just watch things that are older.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of watching things that are older. Don't always fall for the seasonal
Don't be
anime
a sucker.
You know what? Don't be like Shaheen's anime club.
Listen, I liked a lot of them, but I to them they were telling me what they assumed was fact, but to me was a hot take.
Oh, really?
I still remember I was showing, and like, some of these people were so uncultured. I remember I showed them an episode of Mob Psycho, and they're like, "Oh, it kind of looks ugly." I'm like, "You don't deserve anime."
Is the latest?
You want to know what this guy's favorite anime was?
Oh, Dragon Ball.
No.
Oh.
I probably would have been a little bit more okay with it. It was Rosario plus Vampire.
Oh my!
I'm like, if it was the manga, I would be a little bit more okay with it. But no, he liked the anime. He did not like the manga. I'm like, what? No. No.
Okay, all right. I mean, hey, you meet a lot of different type of people in the world.
That's true. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. Opinions and all that. Everyone has different opinions, but like, there's some opinions that are just not right.
Yeah. You are entitled to your opinion, no matter how strange it is. Okay.
Really, how do you prefer? How's plus? I don't. For the longest time, I'm like, that's a show that no one has. It's their favorite show. Again, I could understand the manga a little.
I have nostalgia for it because it's my first harem show ever. That's why.
But the manga is so much better.
Yeah, I know. I haven't read the manga. I need to read the manga. That's something.
I thought you read the manga.
No, I've only seen the anime show.
No, the anime is just fan service trash.
It is. I 100% agree. But it's the first fan service trash show I ever watched.
See, I watched a lot of those in high school. I would never go up and say to another human being, "Yo, this is my favorite anime."
Oh yeah, that I would never do. Same.
This is way better than Mob Psycho 100. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh, and Trigun, because I showed Trigun and Mob Psycho 100 that same day. Because I used to show like 2 episodes of different animes every time we had a meeting. Those are the 2 animes. So it kind of wraps up with what we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. So he's like, yeah, both of those shows were kind of mid, but like, Rosario plus Vampire. I'm like, okay.
Oh my god. This I never heard of before. This is new to me.
And like, I remember that day, I think I had a rant.
Oh, really?
I was so upset by that. I had a rant roasting my club's taste, and without me knowing, my vice president recorded it. Luckily, he never leaked it, but yeah.
Well, that's
who knows? That would have been early content, because now that's a big thing a lot of anime YouTubers do.
Where
they roast people's My Anime lists.
Yeah,
I could totally do that.
Do you want to do that with our viewers, our commenters?
If you're interested, let us know. I mean, I think I'm pretty lenient. As long as Rosario plus Vampire, the anime, it's not your favorite anime. But, I mean, it's not even that bad of a show. I don't know why I'm ragging on it that hard. It's just like, compared to the 2 anime I just showed you, you have the audacity to say that to my face.
Oh, man. To be fair, I have sisters who genuinely, I was like very mad at the Lion King remake movie, and I'm like, why are you watching this trash? It's horrible, it's bad, it's not, it completely, like, it doesn't ruin the original, but like, I feel like it shits on its face.
It's just soulless, yeah.
Yeah, it's soulless, exactly. And then they're like, no, it's Lion King, fun. I'm like, you simpletons.
You fucking consumer.
Oh yeah, here's product we must consume. No.
Media slave.
Oh god. Which I don't know what that says about me, because I watch way too much, but like
I mean me too, but like mine's better and has more emotion.
Oh god, I think that's a perfect place to end. Mine's better and has more emotion. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's me to everything.
Also, your wife who sucks. There we go.
Yeah, your wife who sucks. There's better pink-haired anime waifus than 02 from Darling in the Franxx. Like Cutie Honey. Anyway.
I was about to say Power, but like I don't even know if she is pink because the anime has like made her.
It's
beige.
like pinkish blonde.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Anyways, there's way better pink-haired waifus than 02 from Darling in the Franxx.
Fun fact: mine's Yunogasai. That's my pink-haired waifu.
Still?
Yes, still. I love yanderes, man. I can't.
That is true. I don't think we've ever went into that lore in a podcast. Way to do it at the end of the episode, but we'll maybe
we'll
dive
talk
into
about it
that
next time. Yeah,
next time on the Punchcast.
Yes. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, how do I end this? I forget
What do you mean,
how
how
I.
do you-
I forget how I end the podcast every time. I was about to press leave, but I think if I press leave, it just ends the session.
Oh, okay.
How do I stop recording?
Oh, okay. You know what? Leave this in. We're gonna. Don't edit this out. Leave.
Listen, I'm not that good with technology.
This is the quality content you're here for, folks.
So this is why I'm not a big
You've
YouTuber.
done it this twice, 3 times before, dude.
And I forget every time. Dude, thank God we're not doing this on Discord. Every time I go on Discord, my brain stops working. I don't know how Discord operates. I'm just going to press end session for all and really hope I save the recording.